Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Edward.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. If you have questions, throw your hands up.
I just want to know if all types of death, whether it be suicide or natural causes, are all in the same place.
How long does it take to reincarnate again?
When we have lost people that we care about, we get a symbol, a song, a coin, a bird. Is that just something we're looking for, or are they actually trying to communicate with us?
I think it's both. In that section, somebody's got the flag pillow. They're insisting I talk about the red, white, and blue on a pillow. Do you have a daughter?
Yeah, our daughter passed away.
Your stepdad? When you first came on the scene, I don't really feel like I embraced you all that well.
That's true.
She was mean to him.
But I also feel like you became dad in a very, very quick way.
Oh my God, yeah.
And she's telling me that you had a conversation with her that if she was to walk down the aisle, that she would want you to do it, correct? Just know that she sees this as a way of coming through, and thank you guys for your patience.
She is okay.
She's okay. And has mom passed for you, or one of you has mom who's passed? Mom's here. I need to acknowledge mom as well. But mom and dad are coming.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited because we have a very special guest today. He is the first psychic to ever host his own television show. And it was syndicated in 700 countries, and it's still playing in 100 countries. And for 3 decades, he's been helping people connect with loved ones on the other side. Oprah calls him the rock star of psychics. I call him my friend. John Edward, thank you for being here.
Thank you. That was so kind. You call me other things too, but we won't say what that is.
Oh, well, if you come on again, I'll tell them what your nickname is.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. We've been friends for so long, and I'm so not used to interviewing you. I'm so used to being switched and you interviewing me. But, you and I talk so much about this work.
Right.
And you and I have been in it for a long, long time. And
very long.
You've been in it for 3 decades.
Yep.
And I've been in it for 4 decades. So that's, as you would say, 70 years of knowledge of helping people. Now, I know we've talked about this, and I hope it's okay that I ask you this question. But
I told you before we started, you could ask me anything you like.
Okay, I really would like people, our CharVision people, to know what you think about where our work is going.
Well, I hope that where our work is going is back to the basics, which is to understand the principles of spirituality, to understand the responsibility of spiritual teaching, and to get more people to feel empowered. I think you doing a show like this helps people to know that information, real information.
Excuse me 1 second. He inspired me to do the show, just so you know.
Oh,
okay, go on.
But that you doing a show like this is to inspire and empower people to know that they could live a better life. You take Oprah off the air, and there's not a lot of people talking about spirituality. Put Oprah back on the air doing what she's doing with Super Soul Sundays and giving a platform for people, information's getting out there. So I hope more of that is what's happening. I think the reality of where we're at is a very, very dangerous precipice, and that in the tarot there's a card called the Fool. And when you look at the card, the Fool, it's a young man who's got a bag that's, connected to a stick, and he's got a little white dog that he's, walking on a journey with, but he's got everything ready there for him and an opportunity to happen, but he's looking up. And if he takes the wrong step, he's gonna fall off the cliff.
Right.
I feel like the work is in that kind of analogy. It's exciting and it can go in either direction. You can either fall off the cliff or not. It can be a very successful where everything's at your fingertips. And I think it's up to the viewer. I think it's up to the individual. I think it's up to the person to choose not to fall off the cliff. And I think there's a lot of negativity that's out there. I hate all the psychic shows that are out there. Like, I'm just gonna be very, very bold.
Right.
2015 was a year of me shifting my paradigm. And
Right.
I've been very politically correct and say, like, oh, I think this is great, or I'm happy that the subject matter.
You're talking about TV shows, right?
I'm
Not
talking
internet
about,
shows.
I'm not talking about internet shows. I'm talking
Okay.
about television shows. There's only 2 shows that I could say in the last couple of months that I've actually kind of gotten behind.
Right.
One is Proof.
Uh-huh.
It was a fictional show. It's scripted. It's on
Right.
TNT with Jennifer Beals.
Right.
And then I had the opportunity to see The Last Goodbye, and that's with Rebecca Rosen.
Right.
And that is a show that's about the work, not about an individual.
She was in one of my classes.
And she's doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? Like, the show's about the subject matter.
Right.
So, but it's the first time that I feel like it's not sensationalized or salacious. Like, I don't really care if a psychic's having dinner with their husband. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I don't think that really makes I don't think that helps somebody. I think.
So you're saying that most people are out there for ego and they want to be famous. I hope it's okay that I say this. We've been in meetings before, and the executives at the networks would say, well, what we really want is the next John Edward. Well, there isn't a next John Edward. There's only one John Edward, and that's you. So all these, I mean, look at, we found that one guy out there is a con artist.
Right.
And we know he's a con artist. And there was an article done about him, that he's a con artist. I mean, there's
Well, to be factual, right? In the Daily News, they wrote something about a previous kind of scammer mentality and something that was done, but now the person's doing readings and living a spiritual life. But okay, I think that's scary.
Right.
So, you know, I just.
But he scammed people out of money.
Yeah. But to answer your question, am I excited about where the work can go? I am, because I think that astrologically on the planet, and I'm sure you've had astrologers on that can kind of talk better to this than I can.
Right.
I think that we're opening up in a very, very big way, and we're coming into this place where information and empowerment is kind of replacing what churches and temples did for many, many years. And the internet is becoming the place that people come to for information and empowerment. So they'll find you, they'll find me, they'll find people that are able to give them that information and teach. But they're also going to find people who are like any other field. You know, for 40 years, for 30 years, you've heard the stories about the people who say you have a curse on them, give me $500, I'll light a candle.
Right.
So it's just shifted and changed, and television is highlighting it in different ways.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for in shows that I'm doing and that you're doing with that will teach people to be open about understanding that this is a big responsibility.
Absolutely, and there's no, and that's not to say that the people that are doing these shows aren't really good at what they do.
Right.
But I think after how many years of doing television, I mean, listen, before I did Crossing Over, I was watching you on a couch when I was 15 years old, do readings on Sally Jessa Raphael. So, I mean, thank you for saying what you said, but the reality is you, George Anderson, you guys were out there doing like guest appearances on TV shows when it wasn't cool or in.
No,
or
it was really difficult.
putting your butt on the line to say, hey, look at me, I do this.
Yeah, it was
wasn't-
difficult.
It wasn't in.
But you know, like what you were saying, if people they're not going to churches, they're looking for spirituality. This next clip that we have of you, you don't get this in a church. You don't connect. You don't find somebody connecting their loved one with their child or their parent or their loved one who's passed over. But you do this in your groups. I've watched you live, and there's no way he can know what he knows on this. Let's see the clip.
They're possibly sitting with someone who's going to take their last breath, or they just experienced it and they found this site, they found this show, they found this interview. What would you say to that person?
The pain, it just lessens. You always miss them. You'll always think about them. They're always with you. And as much as selfish as that you want to say, I want to spend more time with them, I want to share more life with them, they're taken at the perfect time. They go at the perfect time, because maybe perhaps if they would have stayed, maybe they wouldn't have been as happy, or maybe there's situations that would have happened.
I agree with you, because I truly believe that when we look at the reality of our connections and relationships, they run the length that they're supposed to,
Yeah.
even if it's an accident, even if it's a tragedy, even when it's something that is completely unfathomable to us here in our earthly ego. I think there's a much bigger divine plan in some capacity.
So, how do you feel after you're connecting somebody like that to their loved one?
Well, in this case, this was an interview I did with Mia Michaels, who's the choreographer for, well, she was on So You Think You Can Dance. She travels the world, you know, teaching kids. She's the choreographer for, it's totally escaping me. It's the, on Broadway now. Kelsey Grammer was in it, and Matt Morrison. I'm totally having a brain fart. Based on Peter Pan. Finding Neverland.
Finding Neverland.
Finding
There
Neverland.
you go.
She was a choreographer for Finding Neverland. And I just find her inspirational as a person. So she came on and we talked about her dad's passing. And it was such a moving experience. And it was amazing to hear her take on being at her dad's bedside and what it was like when he passed. And so many people don't talk about death, right? We talk
Right.
about it all the time.
We do.
But people don't talk about it.
Besides when you're mad at me and you want to kill me anyway.
But I still got to
Just
listen to you.
Yeah, so it's so moving, and creative people, I find, are more intuitive, and they're more in touch with that side, and they're more sensitive to that side, and you help bring out that sensitivity in these people, and also it gives them somewhat of a closure. I don't know if you can ever have real closure when someone
Right.
passes, because we're always going to miss our loved one. We can never duplicate the love we had for our mother, our father, even our dogs. And so, but you bring a healing that's so important. And the psychics and mediums that do this work and are pure and good and sincere have an ability to do that churches don't do.
Right.
So I've had people come up to me, and I'm sure people come up to you as well, and say, well, are you on all the time? Are you psychic all the time? And what do you tell them when they say that?
I tell them that Metaphysics 101 teaches you that there's a time and place for doing this, and I feel like I'm a surgeon, and if you're a surgeon, you're not doing surgery 24/7. So when you go to do your appointments or your readings or whatever you're doing, you scrub in. You're in an environment that is conducive for operating. You do the best job you possibly can to help that person where they're at. You do their surgery. Then when you're done, you scrub out and you go back to your everyday life.
Right.
You're not in a gown and mask. You're not in that environment. You're not walking around life with a scalpel. And I think it's important to know that there's a time and place for everything. So for me, I learned early on at 16 that I was, told that you have the ability to look into people's lives like you have the ability to look into a person's home. Would you stand outside their window and watch them? No, you would not. Why? Because it's unethical and it's not okay.
Right.
So never do it psychically. So I was taught that very early, that early spiritual principle of be polite, be proper, and don't invade somebody else's space, because you never enter someone's vibration without their permission.
Right. You have to ask permission. And there are people who just attack people.
Well, I think part of the success of the Long Island Medium, the show that's on that's had like, 5 or 6 seasons.
I think I've only seen it once.
I've watched a couple of episodes, and one of the things I think is I love Teresa's personality. She feels like she could be an Italian cousin. But I feel like from a production standpoint, the reality is that it puts out a message that it's okay to attack people in aisle 5 of a supermarket.
Right.
It's not. It's not okay. And the reason why it's not okay is you don't know where that person's grief's at. So I'm sure that there's some, you've done television too, I'm sure that
Right.
there's some pre-production that goes involved,
Well-
not just like walking in with this, a camera.
Well, when I had my shows in the Netherlands, I did man on the street readings a lot. And we always ask permission. Is it okay? Can I read for you?
Sure.
And I never knew anything
I
about...
saw you do it on Katie Couric. Still one of my favorite readings that you did was in the Central Park with the
Wow,
woman.
thank you. Oh, yeah, her father was...
Who was, yeah.
He was
And,
shot,
here-
a gunshot.
Yeah, here's this hard-nosed New Yorker who's clearly got.
Thank you.
She had this energy of she's on her lunch hour. She probably has to go to the dry cleaner, the bank, and 4 other places before she gets back to her job.
Thank you.
You encounter her on the street, and you see this hard person shift. It was it's one of my favorite things to watch.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. It
But
means
you're
a
not
lot to
attack-reading
me.
people. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
you always have to ask
It's
permission.
disclaimed.
Yeah.
You say hey, I'm doing this. Do you want that? So
Right.
it's you didn't run up to her on the street.
Right. It's intrusive.
So I'm hoping that show, and I don't know, I've never had this conversation with any of the producers on that show, but I'm hoping that it's done like that. But it doesn't get perceived like that.
The problem with television is they want to exploit everything. And so anything that's the simplest feeling or connection that you may have to connect with somebody, they want to exploit it and make it bigger than life and bigger than it is.
Listen,
And
15 years ago when Crossing Over first started, I was told by folks at the network that it needed to be more, I don't know what the word was, salacious. It needed
that's what
to
they
be,
told you?
Yep. It needed to be more like bigger. And can I make them cry? I was like, I joke around and said, yeah, sure. If I ran out to the audience and slapped somebody, I'm sure I can elicit that level of response. But
you're really honest about your ability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll say you're like a kid who. Tell them what you say.
So I can't do, and I say this openly, I can't do what you do on the streets. Like if I was to go on the streets anywhere, I can't just read the person that's in front of me if there's other people around. So it's like if I open up, I open up big. So I jokingly say, but it's true, I'm serious when I say it, I'm like the 2-year-old that you're trying to potty train. You want him to pee in the bowl, but he's gonna hit the floor and the wall.
Right.
So I don't know where I'm gonna go.
Right.
And it's hard because if you're doing a television show, they like want you to read just that person. I go, well, I know factually that I can't read just that person if there's an audience of people in front of me.
But you do phenomenal things, like
If in its natural environment, if I'm allowed to just do it.
Right.
Thank you for saying that. Like I feel
no,
like
but
I could
you'll like get the camera guy that nobody even knew was going to be there. So there's no way it could have been Googled.
Right.
I mean, it's hard. Isn't it harder now with
God,
Google? Everybody.
Wait, forget Google.
When I started, there
How about,
wasn't anything like that.
I've embraced social media, so being on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and doing stuff like that. You know, we come from the generation of if you do this work, you're not allowed to engage or talk to the person after the session. It's kind of like, thank you so much, I hope this helped you. And then you don't talk to them again.
Never.
For 6 months to a year until they come
Right.
back for their next session.
Right.
And you're like trained to not know them, not look at them, not anything.
And not remember what you say. I don't remember anything I say.
Exactly. And then if you got a letter, it was like, oh, Susan from Idaho said you've changed their life, and it's words on a piece of paper. Now, with Twitter, like that boundary and barrier is down.
Yeah, and
It's
everybody
like
thinks
you're communicating with them, and it's okay.
But I hate to beat a dead horse, but I would never beat. I'm an animal lover. Wrong analogy. But that guy who we were talking about, he's called the Google psychic.
Oh, really?
Because wait, you don't know this story. I had dinner the other night. I'll tell you about it after.
Okay.
Who told me? But there were 2 people who had the same name, exact name, first name and last name.
Okay. Oh.
So he goes and he reads for somebody. And it turns out like nothing was right, nothing. And it turned out the person who got the reading Googled her name and saw that, there was another person who had he told the exact same things about the other person with the exact same name.
You see, this is the stuff that makes my skin crawl.
I know.
It makes my skin crawl.
I know.
Like, it's just this is the thing. If you have the ability to do this, you don't want anybody talking to you about anything. I remember when my uncle passed in 1987, a good friend of mine, Shelley Peck, who I
love Shelley.
I had a great
Shelley was
relationship
his
with.
dear friend.
And she's as old as my mother at the time, right?
Aww.
So I was 16 and she was as old as my mom. So she was like 46. So she had 30 years on me, and we were like the best of friends. But I lost my uncle, and I wanted Shelley to do a reading for my cousin. And the night of the reading, I took my cousin to a local diner, and I'm giving her the rules because I want her not to go stupid. You know how like clients sometimes go like,
Right.
they get nervous and they get psychic amnesia and the whole thing. So I'm like coaching her. I'm like, okay, if Shelley says this, she might mean this. You have to look at it this way. You have to look at it like that. And then I see Shelley and her husband walk into the diner. And as they walk into the diner, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I go into the dining area where Shelley was having dinner, and I leaned down by the table, and I was like, I'm just really hoping that my Uncle Carmine comes through.
Oh.
And it was an innocent moment. Shelley slammed her hand down on the table and said, that's it, cancel the reading, I'm not doing it. And I looked at her, I was like, what? She goes, you just told me his name. I'm not reading for her. And I looked at her and I was like, and you know me well.
Yeah.
And I'm the same me at 45
Right.
as I was at 15, 16.
That's
And I looked
amazing.
at her and I went, if you think I'm walking into the other part of this restaurant to tell my cousin that I just screwed up her reading because I slipped and said her dad's name, I go,
gosh.
you're gonna have to work a bit harder. And she did, and it was an amazing experience. But she didn't want to do the reading because she knew his name.
We have medium camp. We do. We have medium camp that John started.
Multiple medium camps.
Yeah, and other mediums join, and it's really incredible because imagine being on the earth and doing something really special, but there's nobody else that you know that does that. So you feel like you're all alone, and that they don't understand how you feel, and and the emotions that come up with it, and how other people see you, and
Or when you get attacked.
yeah, or when you get attacked.
When
Yeah,
you
what
get
do you think
attacked.
about when skeptics talk to you? What do you say to them?
I don't say anything to skeptics, but I can tell you, like, there is absolutely nothing that any psychic can ever say that has not been said about me. I mean, I have an entire episode of South Park dedicated to me, calling me the douchebag of the universe.
I will say, I have to say something, and that is really, really mean, and it's awful. And the thing that bothers me the most about it is that you have 2 amazing children who I know and I adore and I love. They're incredible, incredible children.
Thank you.
And the thing that bothers me, although they're mature enough to know that this is just a spoof.
No, but we've had to have those conversations. And, you know, and honestly, I say this, it recently just came up, and I said to I said to my son Justin, I go, so how does that make you feel? I said, because you technically are the son of, you know, I said,
Right.
it's a big title that you got to
Right.
carry, dude. So he started to laugh, and he goes, I want to know how you feel about it. He goes, we've never discussed this. Like I said, you want to know my honest feeling about it?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. I said, on a personal side, I said, it bothers me that you guys will have to encounter that. I go, but that's it. I go, beyond that, I said, I kind of actually want to thank the producers. And he goes, why? I go, because I'm not on TV. I haven't been on TV for a decade.
Right.
I said, so all these 13-year-old kids who are finding out about who I am, sure, some of them are going to tweet me, and they're going to Instagram, they're going to Facebook,
Right.
you know, you're a douche. I go, and that's fine. I go, but the reality is, that's only 5 to 10% of them. The other 90% might have just lost their parents, their grandparents, a sibling, or somebody in their life, and they're
Right.
going to find out who I am as a result of that.
That's
I go,
a
and that's the
beautiful
universal reality.
answer. What a wonderful answer.
Because it's happened.
And your son is just so special,
Thank you.
Justin. Oh my God.
He's a good boy.
He's an amazing person. He's one of the nicest people I've ever known, and I mean that.
Thank you.
He's just so dear. Yeah. So.
How do you feel? I'm just curious, like, you're sitting at the helm of this. You have all these, you know, people that are now watching. You're on social media, you're doing your stuff. Like,
Okay.
how do you feel responsibility-wise being in that seat?
I feel extremely responsible, and my show's different than what you're doing, but I will be taking callers, and I will be reading for people soon.
That would be, I hope so, because that would be
Yeah,
like Barbara
I
Streisand
will.
not singing.
Right, okay, well, thank you. Thank you. But I feel a huge responsibility, but I always have. But you know me.
I do.
And I've always stayed a little bit under radar.
But that's why I feel like this is big.
I would go to a local show, and then in Cincinnati or Cleveland, and then another local show in Detroit, and then another local show in New York.
Wait, can I tell the Holland story?
Infiltrate. You can tell me the Holland story, but I have something I want to say before we wrap up. But
Okay.
go ahead.
I don't know if you've announced, but like, Char was like the Oprah of Holland, and you did 10 seasons of your show in Holland. And when I came over to visit twice, I used to play the game. How many blocks can we get before we hear how many times Char is recognized on the street?
That's so-
And do you remember the total?
No.
In a 5-block
Embarrassing.
range, 23 times. You were recognized,
Wow.
I counted, 23 times.
You know,
From the hotel to a restaurant.
That's really sweet of you to say, because no one knew about, no one in America saw my shows in Holland. Nobody knew what was going on there. So when my sister came, she was flipping out, but they were so kind to me. They were so open, and they allowed me to share the work that I've been doing and trying to get out there for so many years. The Dutch people, I will always be grateful to RTL4. I will always be grateful to them. And
they can see this now.
yeah, they can see
How cool
this.
is that?
They can see it. So I thank you for saying that. It is a bit embarrassing, but I have to say I've been with you several times all over the world, in South Africa, and I know
Not South Africa. South Africa, remember the people when they said,
that no,
can you take a photo?
No. Yeah, okay, so, and I said, sure, I'll take the picture.
And then they're like, wait a minute, we want the
Who
photo
is
with
he?
you.
They didn't know who
And
he
they handed
was.
me the camera.
It's because they were Dutch. They were Dutch people, but no, listen, he's underestimating who he is and what he does. I've been with him several times in New York, in California, in Michigan. People, and he'll walk on stage and go, oh, he's so beautiful. And I'll go, oh, God. But it's true. It's true. And people still remember you. You know, because we've known each other for so long, and you've been an amazing friend to me. I just want to read what I wrote, if that's all right. So I've known John for almost 10 years. And there was a time when my office was going through a transition, and I was looking for a new assistant. And he had sent his office manager, Katrina, to my office in Michigan to try to help me because it needed a lot of work. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a text. Now, I had been interviewing people, and Katrina, it was actually a BBM, and Katrina got a BBM at the same time. And it said, Henry Ford Community College. And so I'm going, Henry Ford Community College, oh, I really need to go look at Henry Ford. So at 8 a.m. in the morning, I call them. They're not open yet. Then I call them again. I was on the phone for a half hour to an hour, one department to another, to another, to another, looking for someone to work for me. So the next thing I know, I get this lady named Carol, and she said, well, what do you do again? And I told her, and she said, boy, I'd like the job. I said, okay. She said, no, but you know what? I have somebody, and I think she'd be perfect, but I'd hate to lose her. And it turned out to be Nikki, who everybody here knows because she's been on the show. And Nikki had 3 jobs. Ann was going to school, and she came at 9 o'clock at night, and Katrina was there because, you know, I'm like, do you like pizza? Okay, you're hired. And so,
as long as it's Buddy's Pizza.
Right. Yeah, Buddy's Pizza. Okay, that's good. Bob will like that. You promoted that. And so she did all the interviewing and everything, and that's how Nikki ended up working for me. So it's really because of you BBMing me. And now, here's the crazy part of this. He never remembers.
I don't. If Katrina didn't say that I actually did it, I don't think I would have thought you were cracking up, to be honest.
Yeah. And seriously, because when you do intuitive psychic things, you don't always remember what's going on. So anyway, John is very generous. I feel like I'm roasting you now. And he's generous sometimes to a fault. I've seen you really go a little bit overboard with people. He uses his notoriety to help other intuitives, other psychics, other healers come out to the forefront. He's put a lot of his own time, effort, and money into helping other people. You don't even know what he sacrificed to try to get this work out in a pure way with not these crazies out there just wanting to be famous and make money. And he's dedicated to the work and honors it, even when it takes away from his personal comfort.
Thank you.
It's true. There's no one that has brought the subject matter to the masses like John has. He works hard at everything. This work, being a dad, a teacher, a forever student. Next thing I know, he's, I'm learning astrology now. I go, okay, well, what do I do now? And he works hard at being a friend. I had a dear friend in Florida who was dying, and I was out of the country. I was actually in South Africa, and John is the one who arranged it for me to be in South Africa. And he said, well, do you want me to go visit her? She was in the hospital dying. He offered to visit her. There are so many other stories that I'm sure other people have about what a great friend he is. He accepts his friends unconditionally and knows how to forgive. It's a big thing to be able to do that. He cares about others and helping others and has opened the door for many in the spiritual community. Thank you for all that you have done to help others and for being such a great friend to me.
Thank you.
And to so many others.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
Am I dying?
I knew you were going to say that. I swear to God, I knew he was going to say it. I knew he was going to say, am I dying? I knew it. No.
Okay, good.
You better not. I'll kick your ass. Okay. Before we go, I want to know what's next with you. I know if we go to johnedward.net, we can see Evolve. He's got amazing shows on Evolve. They're very professionally done. You would think that you're turning on a TV set. What's next?
You know what? I think a lot. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. I don't know if there's going to be an opportunity for mainstream television again.
Right.
And if I can figure out the right way to do it, where
Right.
it's not over the top and,
Right.
you know, like I'm down for being controversial and I'm down for being like, you know, forward thinking and I'm down for all of that.
Right.
I'm just not down for it not being real. So if I could do something that's going to help people grieve and deal with their grief and
Right.
see what we do, I think that could happen.
Right.
But otherwise, everything's digital for me. Like I want the world of digital. Like I want this to be, because it does remove every TV aspect of it. It's just
You
direct.
always told me this was the
Yeah.
future, and you help inspire me to do this.
I know when you called me and said, you know, what do you think? I was like, amen.
Thank you. Thank you. And so when people go to johnedward.net, how do they sign up to watch your shows?
They just become a member of the Evolve community. And, you know, I do a lot of touring, so I'm constantly
Okay.
touring around the country, around the world, actually. So, but they just click on...
They just go to the
John
Evolve
Edward-
community.
Yep, johnedward.net.
And you said there's a special show on September 20th, right?
There
Oh,
is
but
a-
this is going to air after. But can they repeat it? Can they see
yeah,
repeats?
they can see the archives. Season 6 actually starts.
Season 6.
Season
okay.
6 started on September 20th.
Right.
So we're a few episodes in, and you know the Twitter community embraces everybody that's an Evolve member. So it's kind of it's pretty cool, that family, energetic community that's come together from all around the world.
Wow. It's amazing what you've done. How many people do you have on Facebook now?
1,065,000.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Truly amazing.
No, it's amazing because I didn't want to do it, and Katrina was the one who was like,
Yeah.
you need to do this. I'm like, no, it's going to be a passing fad, like Facebook. It doesn't even sound like Facebook.
Well, you're doing great with it,
Thank
and
you.
maybe you'll teach me how to do that one of these days. Thank you so much
you
for
for having
being
me.
here.
Thank
It's
you.
really an honor and a pleasure, and I wish you well with everything you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing because you're helping so many people. And it's not always on TV, it's not always on the internet. He does so many things that you don't even know about. So,
Thanks, Char.
yeah, it's true. Once again, John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It
you for
means
having
so
me.
much to me, and I know that my CharVision people are going to be so excited to see you here.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, don't go away. There's more CharVision, and you don't want to miss this. If you like what you've seen on CharVision, then go to char.net and book a personal reading with me, or join a group reading, or join one of my workshops where I teach you to be psychic and intuitive. Thank you for trusting me, Dawn. I appreciate it, and I'm happy you're here.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now, I need to explain to you my process because it's in this process that I'm able to give the best messages from the highest level of goodness and love and God. And I'm like the interpreter, so I just do my best to translate what's being given to me. I hear things phonetically, so I feel things, I hear things, I see things, and my biggest responsibility is being as accurate as I possibly can with the interpretation of what I'm getting. Excuse me. So when I give you an initial, if you could just say yes or no, that will help me, but don't say the name. Let me give the name to you. Sometimes I hear phonetically, so I'll say, is there an M with an R as it is a Mary, or something like that. So just be open to everything, because I'm not always sure where they're going to take me. And when I say they, I mean my guardian angels. And your guardian angels. And Sunny's guardian angels. So just say yes or no. Don't blurt out the name. And I always say my prayer protection before I work. Is that okay? Do you mind?
Of course.
We ask the universal consciousness that holds the highest spiritual power of knowledge, wisdom, and truth to guide and protect us. As we communicate with our guides and angels in the spirit world and tap into the wisdom of the universe, we respect this opportunity and take full responsibility to use this not for ego or controlling others, but with the pure intention of spreading love and healing life on this earth and beyond. Okay, I see you're busy with your work. Are you like very dedicated with your work?
Yes.
Are you not quite sure about where you're at now?
Yes.
You're not totally comfortable. Okay, I feel like it's a place, I feel like it's a holding place for you just for now. I feel like it's just a place to get you by, to pay your bills, to maybe meet some people that might help you in the future, or the thing is, I feel like the people are not always maybe appreciative or helpful or respectful, and it's important that everybody's treated with appreciation and gratitude. Now, I see an M or an A person. I'm not sure where this is. Do you have family that's an A or an M, or?
I have an A.
Is that a female?
Yes.
Is she spelled A-N?
Yes.
Like Anne or Anna? Annie? Anne. Is she living, Anne?
Yes.
Is that your mom, your grandma? Who's that?
My sister.
Oh, your sister. Okay. Who else is Anne? Is there a middle name Anne, or yours?
My daughter.
Your daughter's middle name is Anne. Okay. I figured there were two. Now, have you recently, has there been a change recently with her work, her school, or are you just getting her into a school, or is she too little?
She's too little.
She's too little. Okay. What about getting a new babysitter or a new helper?
Not quite yet.
Okay, there's going to be a time where you're going to need to research where the best place is, because you're going to be working, and you may need some help with this. So I feel like you need to be smart about it's. Don't just take someone because they're maybe inexpensive or whatever. Get the quality. Cheap is expensive. Trust me, I learned that this week. So, if you could be open about this, what is her father worried, or is her father an issue, or is worried about himself, or worried about his work, or worried about?
I think we're a little worried, yeah.
You know what? It's all going to work out. I also feel is there family that offered to babysit?
No.
Okay. It's probably better not to have family to babysit.
I wouldn't trust my family anyways.
Good. I was just going to say, I wasn't going to say it. You said it. And who is, it's a solid name like John, Jim, Joe. It's a name like that. You may not know them now.
Yeah.
I feel like this is somebody who's going to help you, or you end up somewhere and they're going to be there. Because I definitely feel you're not staying where you are. I definitely feel there's going to be change. Do you have anyone in your family who was either in the Air Force, or somebody who flew, who was in the Army or the Air Force, or an old airplane, like a World War II or World War I, an old airplane? Does that mean anything to you?
No.
I see this in my head.
But I mean, my husband's...
Is he in the Air Force? Is he...
Husband's grandfather?
Was he in the Air Force? Or was he in the Army or Navy, or?
I think I didn't know him that well. I've only met him a couple times. I just know that
He was in the service?
Yes.
Is he deceased?
Yes.
I think he's here. I didn't give you his initial though, right?
I wouldn't know it anyways.
Oh, okay.
I don't know him well enough.
Okay, that's all right. And I'm also seeing somebody who's either Kai or Kyle or K.
K is my husband.
He starts with a K, or his name is K?
His name starts with a K.
Okay, K. K with an N in it? Like Ken or Kevin?
Kevin.
Okay. I feel this is the validation that it is his grandfather coming in to say that he's here watching over your family, that he's at peace, that he's good.
I love that guy.
And he loves you. And I feel like he thinks you're the best thing that's happened to Kevin.
Well, I think so too.
Okay. Where is Paul or Peter a P, or Patrick a P?
Male?
Or P, it could be a woman. Patty?
There is a P.
P-A or P, but it's a P. Is there, okay. Is there an E in that name? Is it P-E, like Penny or Peggy?
Yes.
Is that your mother? Who's that?
It's my sister.
Oh, it's your sister. So you have two sisters?
Yes.
And I've talked about both of them so far, right?
Yes.
Why am I talking about your sisters? Are you close with them? Are you supposed to see them soon?
I'm supposed to.
Are you canceling it? Okay, I feel like you need to, I think, I don't know if they're jealous. I don't know. There's some issues with one of them.
Yes.
And if you're not happy with it, I don't know. It's hard because it's family, but really keep your boundaries. You don't need to. Does one start up chaos all the time or causes arguments all the time, almost likes to make problems?
Yes.
Well, then maybe you need to say ahead of time, you know, I want peace, I need quiet, we have the baby, you know, or just don't go at all.
Yeah.
So do what's best for you. And also where you are is where it's at. Always remember that. Where you are is where it's at. So you can be the producer, director looking down on the play of your life and going, yeah, this is what we're going to do, this is not what we're going to do. It's okay. And you don't have to please everybody. And if you're thinking, I should do this, that's not always a good reason. Is there like a D or no, a B or R person?
I have a lot of animals that are ours.
You have that are ours?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a Rocky or a R-O? Or
Nope.
R-U? I don't know, but there's an R.
Mm-hmm.
Were you not sure what to do with him after he passed? Did you cremate him?
Yes.
Do you have his ashes?
Yes.
Because are you like not sure where to put his ashes?
I don't know.
I feel like he just wants you to know his spirit's all around you. He's not in that little.
So I should just talk to that box.
Well, you can talk to the box if you want, but he wants you to know he's everywhere. He's not just there. Was he in pain? I feel like you didn't want him in pain. You just didn't want him in pain. Do you have other animals?
Yes.
Is there one that was close to that animal that misses him? I feel like there's one that misses him.
I can't imagine.
You don't think he does?
I don't think so.
I feel like somebody misses him, or maybe misses not liking him. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Also, you're wanting to move, aren't you?
I really can't move.
I know you can't move, but if you had a choice, you would move.
Yeah.
I feel like eventually you'll be able to. I feel like eventually it'll all come together for you.
How long will that take?
A while. It's going to be a while, and I don't always know timing, but eventually you'll be able to. But I feel like your husband has more opportunities to make more money, and he needs to be pushed to. He needs to be more aggressive about not being afraid to fail. Because there's really opportunity for him.
I agree.
I'm sorry you lost your dog. One more thing. Do you know William or W? William or Walter or... Or is there a last name?
There's a lot of W's, like, in terms of last names.
There are W's last name. Is that your husband's last name or your last name or?
My mother's side.
Last name?
Mm-hmm.
Is her mom deceased?
No.
Or her dad?
Dad.
Her dad. I think maybe I'm getting him. Did you know him?
Before I was born.
Is he from another country or another place?
Yes.
An island, another place?
Yes.
And his last name's W. I think he's... Do you know if he worked outside?
No.
He didn't? Or you don't know what he did?
No, I know what he did.
Who worked outside? Who worked outside in fields or worked outside? Or worked with their hands outside? Do you have anyone like this?
Mm-mm. Not that I can think of.
I think there is. Somebody's outside working and working with their hands outside. You don't have anyone who did building or... What about in your husband's family? I'm a little off with this, but I do see somebody who worked outside.
I don't know.
Yeah, somebody's here who worked outside, or I don't know. Would you have anyone that worked outside in fields? Or in, you don't know.
That's close to me, but I can't
Or
think.
no, like a couple generations. You don't know.
No, I don't know.
Or your husband, you don't know. Okay. Well, anyway, we got to get going. But to sum this up, I just think you need to put up with what you're doing now, work-wise, and that there'll be other opportunities, and you should also work on your own events or your own business plan, because there's more to it. And also, I see, do you want another child?
No.
You have only one, though. Did you lose a child, or you have two?
I have two.
Is there an issue with one of the kids?
There was, but...
Did you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So two's enough. I feel like whatever scare there was, or issue, that it's okay. Did you fix it?
Yes.
Like it was an emergency and you fixed it?
Yes.
I feel like you were guided with it, and I feel like God was watching over you.
Yes.
And your child.
I believe it.
It was really a divine intervention.
I know.
You were very guided to help your child. It could have been a very different kind of ending. You did the right thing. Don't ever doubt your instincts. Don't ever doubt your gut. You have an ability to understand energy and to understand preventing problems and intuition. You saved your child's life, you know that, right? You did. And I'm not worried about them anymore. And I don't think you should be either.
Good.
So I just had my reading with Char, and it was really bizarre because when you go to a psychic, you don't actually believe that they're going to know your entire life. And she knew everything about me. Some of the surprising things that she said was like about my sister. I think that was one of the big ones. My sister's autistic, and she tends to be very needy, and I kind of was delegated to be the one to kind of take care of her, which is why I have to go see her. It's kind of my thing. I have to do that. But my sister loves to make waves. That's her thing. She loves to cause problems and cause arguments, and you know, she can't help it. That's just who she is. The other thing that she talked about was about my daughter. I had to have an emergency C-section because I didn't know when I was in labor that she had the umbilical cord tied around her body, and her heart stopped for 6 minutes. Her heart stopped, and the doctors couldn't find a heartbeat. So I just told the doctor, just get her out of me as fast as possible, and that's what they did. And I have a feeling that if I didn't do it any faster, she would have died. So, I really feel it was divine intervention because her heart, she had no heartbeat. I'm just glad that there are people looking out for us. And I'm really glad that I got to speak to Char today and just affirm what I've been saying to myself, because I'm always uncertain. Yeah, I'm just really grateful.
If you like what you've seen on CharVision, then go to char.net and book a personal reading with me, or join a group reading, or join one of my workshops where I teach you to be psychic and intuitive. Once again, John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
it
for
means
having
so
me.
much to me, and I know that my CharVision people are going to be so excited to see you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on CharVision, and Sunny and Char, we'll see you next time on CharVision.